Well, guys, the other day, Pat Bev on his podcast, and they was talking about the face of the WNBA, and his co-host, Adam Roan Ferrone, was simply hating on Angel Reese until Pat Beverly had to give him a lesson and tell him who Angel Reese really was. Now he's forced to walk back his comments. But we'll talk about all that next here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, guys, man, when you take a shot at Angel Reese, you better not miss. Pat Bev on his podcast, his co-host, Adam Roan Ferrone, was taking some digs at Angel Reese. And Pat Beverly took him to school and gave him a tongue lashing. Let him know, no, Angel Reese is like that. Angel Reese is who we say Angel Reese is. So evidently, that spread all through social media. And now Adam Ferrone has been forced to apologize to Angel Reese and take back what he said. But we'll talk about all that here next after a word from our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by True Choice Insurance. Here at True Choice, we take a different philosophy when it comes to providing you with your insurance options. We emphasize the value of the products we offer, instead of playing on the fear of you not being protected in your time of need. True Choice is affiliated with more than 60 insurance companies. This makes us one of the most independent agencies in the state of Texas. Please visit TrueChoiceInsurance.com for all your insurance needs.
Well, guys, man, Pat Bev, he stood on business on his podcast when he gave Adam Roan Ferrone a tongue lashing about Angel Reese. When he was saying that Angel Reese, when you think about the WNBA, you think about Angel Reese. You think about other names like Caitlin Clark. There was a lot of names that Adam Roan Ferrone said, but Pat Beverly was basically saying, yeah, you know of these people, but when you're talking about the WNBA now, you're talking about Angel Reese. And that's who people know. And Angel Reese is not just, like Pat Bev said, the face of the WNBA. She has an outside marketing ability outside of the WNBA, which makes her almost like a global icon. And people are going to understand when you mention the names of the likes of Angel Reese on what she has done in the WNBA since she's came in as a rookie and what she's doing off the court with all her brand deals, first woman to have a meal at McDonald's. She's been graced the cover of Vogue magazine, and all the hating that Roan was doing, that got wind through social media. And people was calling Roan a racist, and they was coming at him. So on the latest episode of the Pat Bev podcast, Adam Roan Ferrone was forced to apologize to Angel Reese and take back what he said. And apparently, Roan did a lot of researching on Angel Reese to big up and pull out all her credentials since her high school days and the days she was playing at Maryland, and was trying to let Pat Bev know that I wasn't hating on Angel Reese. I know about Angel Reese, and pointing out some things that he said that Pat Beverly didn't even know. But the previous broadcast, you really was hating on Angel Reese. And like Pat Bev said, people must have been coming at you for you to retract your statement, and now you want to give Angel Reese her flowers. And we're going to take a listen to what he said on the latest episode of the Pat Bev podcast. But before we get off into that, right now, I'm at 13,916 subscribers, on my way to 14,000. So if you're new to this channel, you're now coming across my platform, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And with the help of you guys, I can get to 14,000. Well, let's get off into what Adam Roan for Roan said now about Angel Reese on the latest episode of the Pat Bev podcast. Take a listen.
Speaking about getting in and out, I heard you've been in a little debacle lately with the culture.
What do you mean?
Black folks been on your ass, I heard.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Angel Reese folks.
Well, she is an angel, I'll tell you that.
No, don't try to be nice now.
Of course, no. She is an angel.
Hey, listen.
Sweet as a Reese's, too.
And listen, she got some Beehive vibes, don't she?
Oh,
They
yeah.
was on your
I'm
ass.
never saying a bad thing about Angel Reese in my life again.
So you admit you did say something bad.
It was basically like they descended on me. They were like, this fucking racist motherfucker. I was like, bro, you can't say anything without it being turned into a race thing in that context.
You have to protect our women, especially Pat Bev, all women of all colors. I say, I got you, Angel Reese.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that motherfucker never disrespects you again.
And I mean, she's a champion, all defensive team.
No, we don't want to hear that.
She had a record while she was at Maryland. She had the longest streak of 30-point games, 2 30-point games in a row. Record. She was first rookie to have a double-double in the All-Star game, WNBA.
Okay.
But you didn't know that about her?
Yeah, I didn't.
Sounds racist.
No, not racist. I just knew her work. I don't have to look up her work. I know her work personally.
Well, I mean, I've been familiar to her work back in high school when she won 3 championships. Okay, on to Maryland, on to LSU, into the pros.
Oh, my boy was studying.
Pros, multiple leagues.
They was on your ass. You couldn't sleep.
What are you talking about? I just love to celebrate a great hooper.
Oh, yeah, it was on your ass like back pockets, huh?
Oh, there was a bit of that, but
How did you feel? Like, explain your feelings when you because some people, you know, they don't look at it. Some people do look at it. How did you actually, being honest, how did you actually feel when them folks was on your ass?
I thought it was kind of funny that people were like, you could see the underlying hate in his heart. I thought that the way that some people chose to extrapolate and kind of infer emotions that I had that I didn't necessarily have. But at the same time, like I said, never saying a bad word about Angel Reese again. I don't want the smoke. I don't have opinions on it to that level.
Is she the face of the NBA?
Face, legs, arms.
Okay.
She's the body of the NBA.
Now I see you locked in. She just got Defensive Player of the Year and was Unrivaled, right?
And a championship at Unrivaled.
Yeah.
And what are the fucking haters going to say now?
Yeah, okay. So you know your shit. You study.
Very condescending.
Well, I've always been
It
familiar.
shouldn't take hatred for you to study wrong.
I've always been familiar. Back to her McDonald's All-American days.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. I've
Shout out
never
to
heard
McDonald's.
you talk about her being a McDonald's.
No, don't try to
All-American.
throw me under the
I don't remember you talking about it because it would have been so easy to uplift her.
Motherfucker go he take his shit, he goes
so
take me with him. Yeah, it's called
uplift her.
our gun.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well,
We both pulled
Too
the trigger.
funny.
I just have been celebrating her since her $1.8 million in NIL money that she made across 2 schools. It's like she has been not only a cultural icon, you know that she was on the cover of Vogue.
Man,
So
this
she
man
made
going
1.8
crazy
in
right now.
college, opened up doors, record-breaking Reebok NIL deal.
Hey, mind you guys, before I
She
walked in,
kicked in the door.
he's studying all of this.
No,
Man, you heard what Pav said, man. That was too funny, man. It was very condescending, though. But, hey, shout out to Adam Roan for apologizing. And they would, like Pat Bev said, the culture was on his neck, man. The Angel Reese beehive was on his neck, and he was forced to apologize. And like Pat Bev said, you did your studying before the episode, was about to be recorded. So you had all this stuff, premeditated. You had to do your studying. You had to go back, and now you want to give her flowers, which I felt was kind of funny. It was very condescending, but it was funny at least, you know what I'm saying? But, he came out on record, he apologized. So, he's recognized what Angel Reese has brought to the table. And like Pat Bev said, she's the face of the WNBA. He said she's the face, the arms, the legs, which I found, kind of, amusing, but it was kind of funny, man, that you got that pressure put on you and you didn't want to be caught up in that box. You don't want to be caught up in that trick bag. So you had to come out on national TV and you had to apologize to Angel Reese, man. So kudos to you, Adam Roan for Roan, But Pat Bev, man, you're comical, man. You're funny. But Pat Bev stood on business, man. That last podcast, Pat Bev really gave it to Adam Ferrone, about his hatred toward Angel Reese. And now he was forced to, apologize, man. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger, and we're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces. And remember, I'm rocking all jerseys. Cavaliers, LeBron, just pulling them out in order.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Droppin' podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.